flag and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, call the special meeting to order. I'll ask, I said, calling the special meeting to order as in item number 1, Jan, and item number 2 is I'm calling the finance committee meeting to order now. We got a roll call, please.
Albert.
Here.
Badlow. Day.
Here.
Gurecki. Photo.
Here.
Mendel.
Here.
We have a quorum.
All right, we have a form. Let's,
I think that you guys are still on mute. I cannot hear anything.
Shannon, I can hear. You're unable to hear anything, Shannon?
Okay, thank you.
All right, good.
All right,
Thanks, Ed.
let's go to item number 4, Turner Avenue LLC. John, you want to see?
Well, here's the application for financial assistance. As you can see, it's outlined in your packet. Hopefully you had a chance to review over the weekend. If not, I understand completely. 1 million square foot facility they're looking to build. Remove what's currently there and try to bring back something. Many different opportunities there, mixed use as well. They're looking at about a $2.7 million project cost. The pilot is outlined on page 4, which is 5 years, 0 payment of taxes. Then in the 6th year, it kicks in to be, goes up 10% each year till we get to year 10.
So,
So this alone is just for the initial purchase of the structure. Yep, so that's it for what they're asking for right now, and this will be the first part of the project, is strictly to buy the property.
I had questions last night, you probably didn't.
I saw them, and we can talk about the first one when we go into the bond resolution next, and then the second one I'd rather talk to you offline about. Okay.
Oh, about the project.
Yeah.
How much do they owe on back taxes, water?
They owe a lot. They owe last year's, I don't have the total amounts. I don't think we ever added those up, but at closing, they'll have to pay those
That's closed.
at closing. So whoever filed any mechanics, any kind of lien on the property will have to be paid at closing. Everything will be paid back to the local community, our sewer plant, the county-wide sewer was owed money. Yeah, all the property taxes, as well as the village electric. I know some other guys were owed some money too. I don't know what they did about it.
Is that included in soft costs or whatever?
No, that wouldn't be included in any of this. Not for us, no. It's strictly what they have to pay back at closing. So, yeah, but the point of the matter is what the sale price is what was negotiated, and then when they go to the closing, that's when everybody's there with their hand extended to pay those on. Yeah.
So this is just the purchase of the property and to fund, or excuse me, just the purchase of the property and also pilot benefits.
Yes, on the property.
Um,
It's, as I mentioned, 5 years, first 5 years, 0% of property taxes, then it goes up 10% each year for, or 20% each year for 5 years to get to 100%.
any other questions? Okay, need a motion to accept the application. Tim, second Corey, any further discussion? All in favor, aye. Oh, I'm sorry, let's go to the roll call. Yep.
Albert.
Yes.
Badlow. Day.
Yes.
Gurecki.
Yes.
Photo.
Yes.
Mendel.
Yes.
Application resolution passes. So do the resolution for the finance committee and the idea of the bond issue. You know, there are information on page 14 through 17, the packet. John? bond application.
I'd like Ed to pick that up.
Yep, I just, sorry, I wasn't able to, hear all of what, the chairman said there.
Okay, so this is the resolution of the Finance Committee and the IDA bond issuance. 14 through 17 of our packet, which you received.
And you just want me to talk about the finance committee resolution?
Yes.
Great. So under the public authorities law, when a, public authority issues debt, the finance committee has to meet and make a recommendation to the board for, moving forward with the project. And that's what so that's the first step of this kind of four-step process here before we do the bond resolution, is to have the finance committee meet, review the material, and then move it to the board for approval.
So is there anything in here that stands out that we should address during the resolution for the bond issuance?
Not really. This is kind of an administrative matter, because really the thing that will bind the board will be the bond resolution itself. So this finance committee is simply doing a review and making a recommendation to the board. The board actually makes the final decision. So
Other questions for you?
Well, so for the one for the, this is our. I guess I'm thinking what language and which resolution?
Round 14, correct?
We're on page 14 through 17.
Right. So the one that I asked about.
About
So-
the dollar amount.
So, right, it says, so Ed, I guess I'll direct this to you, and I just want to
yes,
make sure I understand it correctly. So, in the first paragraph on page 15, sort of 3/4 of the way down, it referenced the obligations, and I interpret that to be the bonds, correct?
yep.
So it also indicates that they're estimated to be 2.5 million, and in any event not to exceed 4.5 million.
Yeah, and the reason we basically build in a cushion in case at the end of the day the project ends up being more expensive than anticipated, and the lender, and in this case will be the county, is willing to lend additional funds. So that way you don't have to go back and go through the whole approval process all over again. If, for example, the purchase price for whatever reason ends up being 3 million, you wouldn't have to go back to get board approval. However, if you feel like based on this amount, if you'd like to lower that amount, that cushion from 4.5 to 4 or 3, you're free to do that. Other IDAs prefer to have a smaller cushion. Some IDAs have larger cushions. It's kind of a discretionary thing on your part, but we do recommend that you do have some type of cushion just in case there are unexpected costs out there that really would not be something that would be a concern and would be the board would feel comfortable moving forward with the project, even though the expenses went up and at the end of the day, the lender was willing to lend the money.
So then I guess I'll ask, do I interpret that you're saying the legislature is aware of this up to 4.5 million?
Yeah, so the legislature makes their own separate decision on the amount that they want to lend. So the agency is simply saying to the county, we're willing to issue bonds up to if you want, up to 4.5. But at the end of the day, it's really going to be the county who makes the determination of the amount that they're willing to expend. So it's not obligating the county to issue 4.5. It's simply allowing, if the county decides to grant more money, they have the ability to do that without having to go back to the IDA board to get that approval.
Right, I understood that. I guess I wanted us to understand that we're allowing up to 4.5 million. I don't think, I wasn't.
You're asking if they're aware, the county's.
So let's give
Well,
another
it
example.
doesn't exactly have to be aware. I mean, they will be aware with this resolution, but the 2.5 million was always what I understood. And then in here, we today are approving up to 4.5 million.
Once again, as a
And
window,
then
like we did with Nathan Galinsky Apartments, we approved 13 million, but we actually approved 27 million, I think it was.
Correct. Yep.
So that gave us that cushion in there in case there was additional. when we did the bonding though with that, it was New York State. And that's how we ran those bonds through us. We can't do that here in this project. But for that one, we were able to do that. So there is the cushion, what this is for, so we don't have to come back. If it does work out to be 2.75 million, then we don't have to come back and do all of this again. We're gonna
Right,
have
no,
that cushion.
and I understand that, the 4.5 was just a figure we had never.
An arbitrary.
So I guess I wanted to
I think it's been in
understand.
a lot of other stuff that was handed out. I can't tell you when. Or maybe it was stuff that we just read and approved here for just the process. But I think the numbers are arbitrary. I mean, you could pick whatever, if you want to change that, we'll change it, but I don't see a
No,
sense.
I think I just needed clarification for it
Okay.
because it notes the obligations as the bond, so I needed to understand what our capacity was for that, and then also what the county's appetite was for it.
Yeah,
Sure.
it will be whatever they decide, which will be pretty soon, hopefully. I think they have a meeting. Do you have that meeting later today, Ed?
We have a meeting today at 2 o'clock with the county's attorneys to discuss the project. Yep.
Does their cushion at the county match ours, do you think, or will it exceed ours or fall below ours?
I don't think that matters to us, really. They'll have to decide. I think they're gonna stick with whatever the number was in the beginning, 2.477 or something like that. That's the number that they're gonna stick with.
Yeah, right now we have approved. Extension. So that we could approve, so we'll know more.
Okay, so going forward on any other project, I mean, really, we'll just like note that we talk about cushion, whatever that is.
Well, this is where we are talking about it. If you wanna change it, it's
No,
very
no,
easy
no,
to
I'm just
change.
saying, going forward, we'll make note that we have to talk about cushion, just so everybody's.
We're just understanding.
Yeah, I understand, okay. All right, so, any other questions? For the bond issuance? Need a motion to approve that. Or second, Dan, thank you. Discussion further? All right, roll call, please.
Albrecht,
Yes.
Laszlo, Day,
Yes.
Gurecki.
Yes.
Bono,
Yes.
Mendel.
Yes. Resolution. Next item, the secret resolution, pages 18 through 25, now.
Well, so in the environmental review, Ed, is there anything different about this we need to worry about?
In the secret resolution, no. In this context, before you approve a bond resolution, the state requires that you do a review of the environmental impacts that the project potentially could have. And so that's what this resolution simply does, is basically say that you've done a review. It constitutes what they say is what we call an unlisted action. And that you've determined it has there is a negative declaration, meaning that there's no impact on this. In this regard, they're purchasing the property. At this stage of the development, there's no construction, build out, anything like that. It's simply an acquisition. So that's why there will be a neg deck on this in this context. Shannon, did I forget anything?
Yeah, I think you covered it.
What's the testing with the wells?
That, when are they doing that? It starts today, but that won't impact this either because there's no construction during the initial purchase. So when they come back and we talk about demolition or any additional buildings.
Any comments, questions, concerns? All right, need a motion to accept that secret resolution. Tim, second. Lori, any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Albrecht,
Yes.
Laszlo, Day,
Yes.
Gurecki.
Yes.
Bono,
Yes,
Mendel.
Yes.
passes. Next item, the pilot deviation. Need to approve that resolution, John.
So in the pilot, the only difference is, and correct me if I'm wrong, Ed, is the fact that we did 5 years, no property tax, and then on the 6th year, it starts out at 20%, then does 20 all the way to the end.
Correct.
Any motion? Any questions? Tim, second. Lori, discussion.
Already pushed back.
No. No.
We did have two. So, call the roll, please.
Albert,
Yes.
Laszlo, Day,
Yes.
Zarecki. Yes. Bono,
Yes,
Mendel.
Yes.
passes. Last item.
Ed, I have a question. Before we do the bond resolution, we did have the public hearing. When do we enter that in for the record?
That's part of, mistake me if I'm not wrong, Shannon, is that part of the record for the, we reference it here in the bond resolution itself.
Yeah, I'm not sure I understand the question. Like, you're meaning you want to accept the public hearing minutes or something?
But yeah, usually that's what we do. We accept the public hearing minutes, which I know we don't have for this. There was nobody in attendance. I mean, there was 2 people in attendance, but no questions were asked. So I don't know what we do with those and when we do accept those.
Yeah, okay, I apologize. Every IDA does that differently, and most of our IDAs don't separately accept the public hearing minutes, but there's language in the bond resolution that references the public hearing minutes and indicates that, you know, you took them and that you have them for the record, et cetera. So you can take a separate motion to accept them if you want to, but you don't need a separate resolution for that.
All right, any other questions for, Brian Shelton? On the bond resolution? Let's go with that.
Okay, I read through everything with the bond resolution. My only question will be the terms of everything that's worked out. Has that been worked out with you and the county attorney yet?
No, that's what, the call today at 2. We hope to discuss those terms and make sure we're all on the same page as to what the county initially indicated to us were the terms of the deal.
So we would vote on this now just with the approximate amount of 2,744,213, but not on any terms or anything, correct?
Correct, because the terms are set by the county, in this case, the lender. And what you're doing is approving that subject to basically your counsel, Tony and Bond's counsel, Hodgson, and yourself as the chief executive officer, having reviewed those terms and finding them acceptable. But at the end of the day, it's really going to be up to the county. They're the ones with the risk, and they're the ones who are providing the funds. So they're going to have the final say of those terms.
I'm sorry, I keep asking the same question.
I think it's helpful for us to know though. I understand it's up to the county, but also too, I think just us understanding what those terms are helpful as well.
Once I get them from that meeting, I'll send them to all the board.
I know, I know you say, he asked that question, he keeps answering it, but just, you know, I understand it is the county's final decision to hold risk, but also too, we just have to be aware as well.
Yeah, oh, I agree. And as soon as we get them from them, we'll get them contacted. Separate.
Okay, any other questions for our attorneys, CEO? All right, we need a motion to accept that. Stuff. Lori, Tim, any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Albert,
Yes.
Laszlo, Day,
Yes.
Zarecki. Yes. Bono,
Yes.
Mendel.
Yes.
Resolution passes. We need to go into executive session for anyone?
Not at all.
Okay. Need a motion to adjourn. Lori, Tim, Lori, I'm sorry, yeah. Okay. Any discussion? All in favor, aye. Any opposed, any carried. We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody, Tony, Ed, and Shannon.
Tony, I'll call you in a while.
And I'll share with you, I'll share, John, with you the discussion after our 2 o'clock call, what transpires.
Great, thanks.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Have a good day.
Yeah.